What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about a honey black tea and the Graf Von Faber-Castell Intuition. I am going to give you a heads up before I even get into this. Not a giant fan. If you remember my Pelican M600 video that I shot a very long time ago now, I talked about a tea called Nepal Black. And that is a plain black tea that has sort of a honey aspect to it. And then David's tea, I saw this one called Honey Black. And I thought, well, what's the difference between the two? Because I really, really like Nepal Black. And this one is twice the price. This one is coming in at $14.48 per 50 grams. And that's a lot for black tea. So with my free steeper points, I was actually able to pick up this bag for free. And I'm glad I didn't pay for it because I don't care for it. Just says ingredients, black tea from the east coast of Taiwan. Nepal black tea obviously comes from Nepal. So I don't know, maybe it's just the way that they grow it. Who knows the way that they treat it, I don't know, but I'm not a huge fan. This is literally a plain black tea. And I can sort of taste honey to it. But it doesn't add like a sweetness to it in my opinion. It sort of adds like, well, I'm sure you've had the taste of honey unless you're vegan. And you know kind of like the taste that honey leaves in your mouth after you've eaten it. It's not that like sweet, like yum sort of. It's just that kind of like weird syrupy aftertaste in my opinion. I'm not selling this well. But that's what I get from here. I just get a plain black tea flavor with that kind of like leftover honey taste to me. You brew it like you would any other black tea. You take a teaspoon and a half, full rolling boil, about 3 to 4 minutes. And that'll be plenty strong for you. The leaves are quite large on this one, just like the Nepal Black as well. So it's definitely going to need room to expand in whatever it is you're using to brew. But just not a huge fan. I wouldn't buy it again. I probably wouldn't recommend it. Between this one and the Nepal Black one, I would certainly recommend the Nepal Black. And it's half the price too, so even better. But that aside, I'll talk about a pen that I do like. And that is the Graf Von Faber-Castell Intuition. This is a really interesting pen. Right off the bat, first impressions, just looking at it, I don't super care for the design, but that's the only thing that I don't really care for. Everything else, I absolutely love it. So coming in at the finial, and as always, I'll put an overlay of closer-ups a little bit later on. You have sort of a silver medallion inside the black plastic that says Graf Von Faber-Castell and has their logo. And you also have the logo again in the end cap here. There's something special about this I'm going to show you in a minute. The cap definitely is big. It slightly tapers towards the bottom and flares out towards the top. I'm not a huge lover of the way that looks. And the clip itself, I don't really care for in its design. It's kind of clunky to me. However, the functionality of the clip is one of the best that I've ever seen. So if you can see right here, it has basically a full functioning, like it's basically like someone took a clip that like you're supposed to use in like engineering and put it on a pen. It's really, really nice the way that it works. I just don't really like the aesthetic. It all seems kind of big and clunky to me. And the clip just doesn't seem long enough for the size of the cap myself. But that's aesthetic. Function is perfect. And around the silver band here on the cap, it says Graf Von Faber-Castell, and in the back it says handmade in Germany. So that's cool. And then the body itself is like an ivory color, and it is a snap cap, which you have to press fairly hard Not as hard as you do on the loom. Man, you need some serious, effort to open and close that one. But this one is very nice. And if you remove the lid, you can push to post. It posts very securely as well. Becomes back heavy for me when I post it, but I'm really sensitive to posting. If you had larger hands, it may not be as much of an issue, but it still probably will be back heavy for you because of everything that's going on in this cap. It does add a fair amount of weight. So when you take it off, basically there's no grip section. The body itself is completely, well, one piece. It does flare just ever so slightly towards the, right here, like towards the nib unit. So you do have a natural sort of grip place to hold. And when you hold it, you do feel it flare out. So it is sort of a reminder for you not to let your fingers go beyond, because there's a pretty significant step to this silver piece here, which I will explain a little bit more in like 2 seconds. And then you get the nib, which again, I will show you a little bit closer. Excellent, excellent nib. But what I really want to talk to you about is the way that this thing fills is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Most pens, you'll unscrew the body to reveal the cartridge converter. This one's a little bit different. As you can see here, there's nothing to unscrew. It's one solid piece. And that is where this comes in. So it's not a piston filler, but you have to twist the bottom. And if you can see here, that silver piece, man, I wish I could get that in focus, moves up and down. So when you unscrew it, I didn't unscrew far enough. When you unscrew that silver piece, you can literally pull out the whole housing from the body. And then this is just empty. And what you're left with is the converter and then the nib unit. I think that's really cool. It's something that you don't see very often. The only thing I don't like about it is actually filling this guy, because the cartridge converter does not go into this silver housing here. It's literally just perched right on the edge. I feel like holding on to this, it will fall off and there's just going to be an explosion everywhere. I haven't put it to the test because I've been too scared to see if it would, but it just doesn't feel super secure to me. And because this is all metal, you have to make sure that when you fill it, when you dip this into your bottle or your sample or whatever, you're going to have to make sure you clean it off really, really well. So that way the metal doesn't like oxidize and doesn't rust. And these threads here are fairly sharp. They're not going to cut you or anything, but when you're wiping off the like silver section here, they do definitely get in your way. So I'm not a super fan of like the cleaning process of that, but I really think that is unique as far as filling goes. And again, because there's like so many different sections here, ink does get stuck in these little bits that you have to clean off before you use it. Otherwise, you're going to get it all over your fingers. And then to put it back, obviously, you just screw it back in the opposite direction. So it definitely has the most unique, design as far as that goes. There's some aesthetic things that I don't care for, but the writing experience is really, really nice on this. I really like the way that this writes, so spoiler on that one. So just quickly, things that I like. It's a unique body and converter system. I like that it's a positive snap cap. It posts relatively deeply, so you definitely can. The only thing is that I'm sure it just doesn't seem to snap in too well. So I don't know, if you were to just point it at someone and if it may fly off, but for what I post, which is virtually never, it seems okay to me. It's very smooth. The nib is actually ever so slightly stub-like, even though it's broad, but again, I'll get into that. And the clip functions really, really nicely. The things I don't like about it, messy when filling, you know, doesn't seem to post well as far as it becomes back heavy for me, and just some aesthetic issues that I'm not too keen on. But aesthetics are aesthetics. Some people are going to love it, some people aren't. But function-wise, this pen is amazing. Price-wise, it does have a tag. The Graf Von section of Graf Von Faber-Castell is their higher end. It's their bigger tier. So it does come with a higher price tag. US dollars, you're looking at about $430 retail. Canada, you're looking at about $550. So it is a hike. It's not one that I would buy only for aesthetics. If it was writing function, this pen is amazing. I definitely am going to be looking into the Graf Von Faber-Castell pens more so now after having tried this one, to see if I can find one that I like physically, because the writing experience is beautiful. And speaking of that writing experience, let's jump in and I'll show you what this guy can do. Alright, so once again we have the Graf Von Faber-Castell Intuition. This is a broad 18 karat gold nib, and the ink for today is Faber-Castell Moss Green. Just a quick point to bring to you guys' attention. This is a broad, but it is kind of more italic or slightly stub-like in my opinion, because when you write, and you hold the nib like absolutely straight, so no rotation, no anything, you're gonna get this natural line variation. I don't know if that is just this nib in particular and that was like some sort of strange thing, or if all of their broad nibs are like this, but it's definitely what I noticed. Given a little bit of a push, you can squeeze out a teensy bit of line variation as far as like flex go, but you're already going to get this natural line variation that comes with it. Reverse writing, not really. It's going to be spotty. So maybe, who knows. This nib though is extraordinarily smooth. There's an ever so slight amount of feedback, but it is basically buttery smooth. And I really, really like that. Wetness, it's definitely a wet pen. And as always, I do appreciate that. It's not like a gusher, but it's certainly wet. You know, as far as hard startings go, quick writing, no issues whatsoever. I've been writing with this pretty much every day for about a month now, and I've never had an issue with any of the writing aspect of the pen. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. This pen writes really, really well. So if this is your style as far as aesthetics go, and you want a really good writer as far as like performance goes, absolutely check this bad boy out. But guys, that's about it for me today. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss any Monday or Friday videos that come out, and the occasional Tuesday. Don't be afraid of that comment section below either. I do read them all, and I try and respond as soon as I can. And as always, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye!